So it's dark out. It's about, I don't know, 6:09 a.m. And I'm going to pick up Dave, and then we're going to go to Paul's, and we're going to actually do kind of like a mock recording. So when we get to the studio, we know what we're doing. And so it's kind of interesting because way back in the day, we used to, the three of us, we would get up at like 4 a.m. And before we would all go to work or do whatever we had to do, we would actually go to Paul's studio at the time, and we would rehearse from like 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. every morning when we were young and had all kinds of energy. And so this was kind of reminding me of that just a little bit. Anyways, so about a 15-minute drive to Dave's. Dave and I live about 20 minutes apart, actually, and I'm just part way there. I'm gonna grab him, and then we're gonna go to Newport Beach to Paul's, and then kind of see what the day brings us. Work on some tunes, keep refining, getting ready for recording later this month. We're going to go to East West in Hollywood and try to nail down at least a few sets of rhythm tracks, you know, drums, bass, guitar. I still think us being able to bounce stuff back and forth is helpful for me.
Okay.
Because I get creative.
Yep.
You know, in my own space sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think there was a learning curve, like to how to interact and like what was okay, what wasn't okay,
right.
How to like front load things, you know, just how to be decent human beings to each other while we're throwing ideas back and forth. And so that last video where Paul just sat there and just basically said, hey, you know, some of the stuff they're coming up with is just better than I would have thought, you know? Did you watch that?
Yeah.
That like completely disarmed me.
Oh,
I mean that I called him and I'm like, I was almost in tears, you know? I was just like, holy crap, you know? I'm like, okay, dude, you know, I guess you're being the bigger man. You know? I said that, you know, really spoke to me. I was just kind of almost like shocked.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, well, just because both of us are so strong-headed.
Yeah.
You know, and like we want to do the right thing, and we want to like love each other and like show grace and like, you know, give each other space to be creative and like listen, you know, but it's really hard to do, and it's not, you know, it's not either of our defaults, or both of our defaults is to lead and take control.
Yep.
It was just great to where we just are trying to just make sure that we show each other some respect. I mean, he's done all this recording. He's done, you know, a lot of stuff in the industry.
Yeah.
You know, I have to show some respect for that.
Right.
You know, I can't, you know, think that I corner the market on all good ideas.
Right.
You know, but then, you know, we've evolved as musicians. I feel like I'm a better guitar player today than I was then, just because I've done different things. I probably have a more mature attitude about it. I hope I do. And so we were just kind of trading compliments a little bit that way, and just saying, okay, dude, let's not get stuck in, you know, having an idea in our head and just being so attached to it.
Right.
Let's just let it become its own thing of beauty, you know, by just trying to listen to each other and to Dave, you know, everybody. So I don't know, it was pretty good, actually. So this was kind of a turning point week for me.
That's interesting. And so I feel like we've swapped places.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like, I feel like I came into it with a super open mind and just wanting to have fun and everything. And now it's really turned on me where I'm like, wow, I don't know how much fun I'm having right now.
I think that Paul and I kind of fed whatever's eating you a little bit, as far as just kind of getting into a little bit of a musical posturing.
Yeah.
And trying to protect our own ground just a little bit.
Sure, yeah.
Well,
like he said in that video, your great solution may be not as great a solution as what the corporate group might come up with, or whatever that is. So, but that's hard when you write a tune and then you bring it to the chopping block, what I call it, and then it's like, wow, this is so different than anything. You know, I was excited about where I thought it would go.
Yeah.
This has gone so different.
Yeah.
Now I have to just let go of that and just be like, okay, can this happen with a bunch of weekend warriors? I mean, can we really Because I mean, there's people that do this every day of their lives.
Oh no,
and
they
don't end up with a better product.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, because I was playing the song.
That's the whole point. That's what makes it fun. Is it can succeed or fail.
Okay, all right.
For me.
What I enjoy for fun is very different than what you enjoy and what he enjoys and what Kim enjoys. And so I think for me, the wild card right now is still Kim trying to figure out. I still want to know more of where because she shared a lot last time about like, you know, her inspirations and things she's looking for.
Yeah.
Which is probably more similar to my Kim, right?
Yeah.
But I played her Meanwhile, and she's like, yeah, that's not ready. And I'm like, yeah.
That last mix, you mean?
No, just in general. She's just like, you guys don't know what that song is yet. I'm like, I get it. Yeah. She's like, there's nothing really melodic or catchy or anything.
Yeah, what's funny though is Sylvia's always, sometimes she'll actually hang out when I'm practicing.
Really? Because, yeah, Kim's like, probably hasn't even heard all the songs.
Yeah, so I'll play her the latest mix of something. Yeah. And she's okay, I hear you guys. I hear you in there.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely you.
Right.
You know, or she'll, you know, I'll put something down and I'll hear from down the hall, that's so you.
She can hear you.
Because I track really loud.
Yeah, well, I'm locked in a room, so I can't. She has to actually unplug the plug to get my attention.
Oh, okay.
All of a sudden the lights go off and I'm like, whoa. And now I told her, please don't do that. The computer's all plugged in now too.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's how they get my attention is because the inside door locks too, so it's my bomb shelter.
Oh, wow.
If things go wrong with the Ukraine, I'm going to live in my garage in that little room.
Yeah, I was talking to Paul about how our vantage points towards music are different. You and Paul have a certain connection that I don't fit into, like with all the Tears for Fears.
Yeah, right.
Kind of the more level 42,
production,
production-oriented music. But Paul and I kind of have this, we kind of identify with like how to look at music structurally.
Right.
Like dissecting it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, you know, we just have to understand each other's role. There's the live side and there's the which we experience when we play together.
Right.
And there's recording and refining. Yeah. And for me, I want some of the live aspect to translate through.
Right. Yeah.
Like some of the I don't know, some of the nuances of, you know, that really moves me.
Right.
You know, and sometimes you can't capture that if you're dissecting everything.
Well, that's why I wanted to write, and I think we all wanted to write as a group, not as just, you know, and that's why I think in one of the first things I said, you know, let's, you know, I have some ideas, I'm taking them over, you know, to the Dexter household, but I said, unless Frank gets a hold of them, because I do agree with Paul that you just have musical ideas that go a different direction or take them to a different place where it's like, oh, now it's got a different flavor because I don't understand, you know, some of the stuff, and so it's nice to have you just have a different ear for it. Right? You're just like, oh,
I come from a different.
Yeah, you have different influences and different stuff, and if Paul and I did it like Kim said, oh, were you guys just making another Clay House album?
Yeah,
you know, because it would be all you know, and that, which I love. I wouldn't mind that one bit. Yeah. So it's one of those things where I feel like that's where everybody brings their pieces together, but I still don't feel like they're fitting. Like it's cool. I'm glad we're gonna go record these tunes, but I think I might agree with Paul now. It's like maybe we do need honestly the only songs that feel completed are Trampoline and the Fish in a Barrel. The other ones don't feel completed. But
what's funny is we worked more on those.
Yeah.
And so what does that tell us? That unless it happens instinctually, it's not going to be good.
Right. Well, I don't know. Yeah. I feel like Meanwhile has crazy amount of potential.
Yeah.
And I love, you know, a slow, funky groove just as much as the next guy. But I don't feel like it's there. I feel like it's like this raw. It doesn't have any top end. It doesn't have any. It's just this. There's something else that needs to happen there. I don't know.
Well, I wanted something to glue it all together. Maybe. We have a locomotive, we have a thing full of coal and a caboose, but they're not connected.
Right, yeah. So, but that's why I'm like, maybe we don't. I mean, I'm fine putting whatever down.
Yeah,
but it's just like when I think about the songs that are actually like completed, I would say, okay, I feel like the Fish in a Barrel and the Trampoline one are the only ones that feel like songs that we could
go and get some pretty good energy out of them.
And Get to You's getting close. That one's getting close.
Yeah.
This love's gonna wrestle you down, lifting you up off of the ground. This love's gonna comfort your soul, messing you up.
Then I listen to it and I'm like, man, I really got to play that thing tight. And then Kim's got to really sing it tight too.
Well, yeah.
And so
I noticed too, and I hope she took it as a compliment because it really was. When she like has a little bit more grit in her voice and like lets her voice crack, I feel like that's her. I don't know. That's her zone. It's like it starts to become convincing. And I'll have to show you specific phrases, so maybe we might be talking about two different things.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get that binary about it, especially if you could always sing like this. I mean, that's like disrespectful.
That's what I would say. Is like, what is she comfortable doing?
I just Paul was saying, hey, let's make sure when we find something we really like that we just point it out because it's a good place to build from.
Yep.
And so I really liked a few aspects of that.
So I think as much as it's like one of those things where you throw a bunch of stuff out, you're excited about it, you get it going, and then it goes a very different direction, and some of it you can be totally okay with, and you're like, okay, that's great, and then at some point there's something inside of at least me that clicks over and just goes, well, okay, that's not my role, is to come up with any sort of melodic structure, because I just don't see it the way that Paul and Kim see it melodically. But then I think, well, that's ridiculous, because this love is a melody I came up with, and that's where I told Paul, I said, I don't expect every idea that anybody comes up with to be the idea, but I want to keep throwing them out. But for whatever reason, something inside of me, maybe a self-preservation thing turned on, and it's like, well, I don't want to really make a whole lot of suggestions anymore. And it's like, oh, that's not good. So I'll have to work through it and come out the other side.
So I would liken it unto it's the same in a marriage. You know how when you disagree or you see something differently?
We're on dangerous territory here.
Love and marriage.
No. You see something differently.
Yep.
And if you don't work through it, it becomes really bad.
Sure,
Because you have to communicate, and you have to just try to identify, and you have to, in the end, truly, authentically be okay.
Right,
and sometimes it takes a long time, sometimes it doesn't. But in order to continue, you can't ignore it, is what I'm saying.
Right. I don't know. It's interesting as I watch myself from outside of myself. I go, well, that's weird. Like, you were so excited to do this, and now you've kind of switched roles with Frank, where you're a little more cautious now.
Okay, so we are three friends, right?
Yeah.
And you know how there's always a dynamic where two people will identify more in certain areas. We already talked about that.
For sure. Yeah.
And to where it's like you feel like it's your mission. Like, I felt like it was your mission to put the three of us back together. I know it was more viable for you and Paul to do it than for me to be involved at the time.
Yeah.
And so I had natural, going into it, you and him had stayed in contact all these years.
Right.
We hadn't, and so to me, I was still kind of an outsider. So when the dynamic starts to shift, and Paul and I start agreeing on things and start working through some things, and we're making progress kind of at a more rapid pace.
Right.
It kind of puts you in a position of wait, time out. You guys are going a little fast. Let's talk about this song some more. So I don't know whether just that dynamic kind of shift. I think today we'll get an opportunity to just, play, record, reflect, play, record, reflect, play, record, reflect, and then maybe we can just communicate each of our feelings, and I think that's what we're missing in rehearsal. And I think probably is we're not giving, after we do a tune, everyone should have 2 minutes. No, I'm serious. Hey,
The deeper.
tell me what you like the most about this,
Right.
and tell me what you hate. You
Right.
know, so let's try to solve those.
But
you
can
know?
you work on your stuff and listen to somebody else's stuff at the same time? Because sometimes I'm like, and that's why the recording's so much better. I feel like, especially for Paul,
Yeah. That's how
he's in his zone.
he
in
processes
there.
that way.
He's in his zone, so he can hear me in another room playing, and he can be a much more like he's not thinking about
he explained that. He says,
Yeah.
yeah, when I'm playing bass, I'm like
You got
having,
three lights.
I'm having fun playing bass.
Yes.
I'm not thinking
Right.
about the song.
Exactly.
And so that's what he was saying that was
You-
kind
you
of
have that
unique, that
ability.
I'm thinking about the
Right.
song while I'm playing.
Right,
And he's
exactly.
saying, you know, I'm not out there getting all crazy because I'm actually paying attention.
Yeah,
you know?
right, right.
And it's not that he's not paying attention, it's just strengths
Yeah.
and weaknesses. You know,
For
we
sure.
just
Yeah.
we just vibe on things differently.
That's the way he works.
I'm always dissecting things as I'm playing it.
Right.
Yeah, so I think the moral of the story is we just all have to have an open mind and just
Yeah, we're still
chill
learning.
out and just let it develop and not get too attached
Yeah.
to anything, and I just don't want you to feel like all loss of creativity and motivation. So
Right.
that's my goal, is to
Right.
to I guess I'm the bridge now.
There you go. There you go.
I'm the voice of reason.